That's great. That's a great insight. I really think so. Again, the insight, I will even let a client leave troubled and confused. In fact, that's probably the best way to leave a counseling session, because it's like your mind is solving and wondering. So it doesn't bother me if somebody leaves going, I don't know, I can't, this has upset me or whatever. I don't panic, because I know work is happening now. And when they come in, almost every time, when they come in the next week, they go, I got it, or I'm closer, or this, or I got this out of that, and I had to work through why I was so upset or angry or whatever. So that's a great thing. So at least it's an awareness that you're in, so that as you go forward, so that if, where it might even work for you guys or any of you guys, is if he says, you know, this reminds me, I'm feeling really insignificant to you right now. And I realize this is from when I felt insignificant, and I don't know your past, so I'm not talking about you, but when I was insignificant as a 5-year-old, or thought I was, this is taking me back. I'm real sensitive to that. And so that actually, in your communication, if a person can be so vulnerable as to say, I know where this is coming from. I've got some work to do. Please forgive me. I can tell you story after story of just conversations or arguments Teresa and I have been through where we've come to that realization, and then we get together in the mornings for coffee, and I go, I get it. First of all, I'm sorry for what I said, because I know that was hurtful. I thought you were the enemy. And I realized my fear of abandonment or betrayal is what was fueling me, and that's not my excuse. That's my junk, and I'm sorry my junk got all over you. Even if it's just that is so healing in a relationship, instead of, well, I'm right and you're wrong, or you're so unhealthy, why don't you go get a counselor and get fixed? You know, and you're thinking, well, why don't you go get counseling and get fixed? You know, but that's typically what happens. So if you're moving towards even some insight and understanding, if you then can move, and when we get into communication, we're going to talk about vulnerability. So if you can be honest, and it's harder for men, maybe I say obviously, I think it's obviously harder for men to express what they feel, because men are taught stuff your emotions. Most men, not all men, you know, don't cry, wipe off that tear, boy, grow up, be a man. That's a lot of what we hear growing up, a lot of us. And so for a man to be able to say, I'm struggling with, I'm blaming you for what has happened in my life, and I need to do some work on that. Even that will give your spouse so much hope that you're not just going, this is always your fault, you always do this, you. It changes to, I've got some work to do. I'm struggling with abandonment, and I've got to go spend some time with God and reconcile this. And so that vulnerability, when you can really be that honest, and if you can provide a safe place, or either of y'all, if one person can provide a safe place for the other person to be that honest, then you're gonna build an intimacy in your marriage that you've never seen before. I promise. It's unbelievable to be known that deeply and still loved and accepted. I can't describe it other than, please go there, and if you're there, welcome and congratulations. I hope to get further there. And that's one of the greatest things I love about my marriage, is our conflict leads to intimacy. Almost, and I'm not talking about let's run to the bedroom kind. I'm just saying intimacy of being known and trust is built. I matter to this person. When I say I'm struggling with abandonment or betrayal or whatever, instead of, well, that's stupid. God, you get over yourself, grow up, and I mean, that's what a lot of, because men, when we hear that from women, we don't know how to fix that. We can fix the window, we can change your oil, but we cannot fix your feelings. And for most men, we are undone when y'all tell us you're scared or hurt or sad. We don't know what to do. We just are going, okay, I got to fix that, or I'm not the man. I'm not protecting well, and you can't fix that. You can move towards that. And that is the healthiest thing. That we'll get in, as we get into partner validation, trying to fix their mood is the worst thing you can do. If somebody, it's like going to a funeral saying it's going to be okay. For the love of people, just keep it. If you're going to go to a funeral and you don't know what to say, just shut up. Just go and be. And you've spoken volumes of I care enough to be here. But to take lemons and make a lemonade kind of mentality is like pouring lemon juice in a cut. It's just the wrong direction. So if one of you guys is emotionally hijacked or angry or upset, trying to have logic and trying to fix that problem in that moment is about the dumbest thing any of us can do. And I've learned that the hard way, And I've done it right and I've done it wrong. I still do it right and do it wrong. I mean, we're just human. I'm just another guy that's trying to help you guys see, here's something that works for me and a lot of other people. I hope it works for you. If not, talk to me and we'll tweak it some. Maybe it'll work better. But when we share our feelings, so if we know genogram information and someone shares their feelings, if you can provide a safe place for them to be them, and know that they're safe, you've conquered it. You're on the way to the greatest relationship you've ever had, where you can be, where your faults are now known, and we're not going, I'll blame it on your daddy, or if he wasn't such a whatever, you wouldn't be this way. Don't go there. That is way too hurtful for someone to talk about somebody else's parents. It's like you can talk about your kid all you want, but somebody else tells you your kid's a certain way, horns come out of a lot. I've seen women, grow fangs, when they hear that kind of stuff. Their heads spin around. It's crazy stuff. But I can talk about my kids all day long. Just don't you talk about my kids. So don't be attacking each other. Try to understand. Just go, what is it like to go, what could be going on in this person? And you'll begin to, if you're even asking yourself the question, I wonder what's behind this. That's the beginning of trying to understand. Then at least you're not going, I'm being wronged, I'm this, and I. You're going, I wonder what he must be going through. This is an unusual response to that question of, how's your day going? What you doing today? I mean, I've heard a phrase that says, when somebody's overreacting, they've gone home. When you see an overreaction, they've gone home. And so you either go get over it and come back when you're better, or you go home with them. And you say, I'm so sorry, that must have been horrible. I can